Hey there, YouTube land. I just made a 27-minute video, didn't like it and junked it, so take two. First off, before we get into like all the other stuff, let's talk about the recent announcements. Uh, the recent big surprise announcement. Scream Factory has announced another release. What could it be? I mean, Arrow's announced Hellraiser and Buckaroo Banzai. So Scream Factory has come out with their own special announcement. And it's Stigmata. You know, the 1990s Patricia Arquette film. Yeah. Yay. It's got its fans, I'm sure. There's a fan base for Stigmata. But, man, what could be your, I guess, maybe your rival now? Comes out with, like, Hellraiser, Buckaroo Banzai, Hound of the Baskervilles, Day of Anger and stuff like that. And you come back as Stigmata. Hoping that Scream has, like, a much bigger announcement on the way, because I don't think there's going to be many people that were like, yes, Stigmata is that movie that is missing from my collection. I'm not saying like it's a bad release, but it's not any exciting release. It's not like one that, you're like, I would be more excited to see a Hollow Man double bill on a Scream Factory than I would Stigmata. And I'm not dissing Stigmata, not totally. I mean, I saw it in theater, and oh crap, I didn't really like it very much. Maybe if I watch it again, it'll be better. But not a big release announcement. But then again, they never like hyped it. It was a surprise announcement, so maybe that's why I didn't hype it ahead of time. Because it was a smaller one. I mean, it's along the lines for me. Destroyer with Lalo Ozado was a bigger announcement than Stigmata is. But there's like the '90s horror fans out there, and I like some '90s horror. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing '90s horror at all. It's not because '80s like style horror or '70s horror or '60s horror, but it's got its place. Yeah, I know. There's going to be people that are going to come and they're going to list a bunch of great, really groundbreaking '90s horror films and blah, 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 there. And yes, I agree with you totally. There's a lot of great ones. Just Stigmata is not one of those great ones. It's an okay film, and I'm glad it's getting a Blu-ray release. But don't give me a collector's edition of Stigmata, because I don't. Give me like the $14 version type of thing. I'll buy that. Like Patricia Arquette, she's cute. There. As for Scream Factory, to date, one of my most popular videos has been a rant video, and every once in a while, somebody will buy Hellraiser, will buy Nightbreed, or they'll be looking for information on Nightbreed, and they come across, or they look for information on Scream Factory, and they come across my video, my rant video of shame on you, Scream Factory. When Nightbreed was first announced, I was upset. I was upset by the price point, didn't understand it, couldn't see why they were doing it, or really, really pissed, and I did a rant video, like a really big rant video on it. Afterwards, I researched it a bit more. I listened to the podcast with Cliff Compton talking about the I think it was Cliff, talking about about Nightbreed and all the work that had gone into it, and I felt kind of bad. Because Nightbreed is one of those movies that every person, male or female, if you see it at the right time, especially if you see it if you're like 15 or 20, you watch a Nightbreed, it's going to hit you a lot, maybe a lot more than when you're 40. But you never know, because it's one of those movies, outsider movies, like the guy that he doesn't fit in and he doesn't know why, and you find out why, and it's kind of a glorious dark fantasy type of thing. I don't take Nightbreed as a pure horror film. I really don't. I think it's a dark fantasy thing along the lines of and some people are going to totally disagree with me here, like Labyrinth and like stuff that's very dark fantasy. I think Clive Barker's world is dark fantasy. Hellraiser, Hellraiser's a horror movie, but Hellraiser is also a dark fantasy film. One of the biggest mistakes that was ever made in some of the later Hellraiser movies was like taking the Cenobites and saying they were demons because they're not, and that's kind of not the whole thing behind it. It's like Lauren would totally, Rom's reviews, he would know this and be able to like totally talk about this. So maybe Lauren, if you're watching this video, and a Cathode Ray one, we got to talk about this. You know, the world of Clive Barker, you know it really well. You know it better than most people. You got the whole, you collect all the stuff. Now, I decided, yes, I am getting that special edition of Nightbreed. So I order it because it came out at a decent good price for like one day on Amazon.ca. Then when it comes closer to the time to get it, like people that ordered the regular director's cut edition, just because the director's cut's not the special one, we're getting the limited edition, like, you know, limited 10,000. So I'm like, okay, but I'm like, okay, it won't bother me, it won't affect mine, and I'm waiting, and then it looks like, wow, my Nightbreed's not coming. So I do a video, disappointed. I'm like, I'll maybe down the road, or if I ever find it, you know, I'd love to have that, or, you know, but for now, I just can't get it. So I ended up going out and picking up this one, the director's cut, which is pretty cool. But the alternate art is actually the original theatrical cut poster for Nightbreed, which is a really cool poster. So I understand why they did that. But it becomes like a sore spot because you're like looking at it and you're like, oh man, special edition, limited edition. It had that cut on Blu-ray, like on Blu-ray with an extra disc and everything. Then a good friend of mine got me a Christmas present and blew me away. It was what I've been longing for. One of my favorite movies, Nightbreed, the director's cut with the theatrical cut. So if you watch the rant video, understand that I did the video before I found out a lot more information about it, and actually I'm very proud to have Nightbreed in my collection. It's a favorite of mine. You know, a good friend of mine, Parsnip Burger, actually got me this one for Christmas, and it blew me away because it's such a beautiful edition. If you hold this box, like when you take the plastic off it and you just hold the box, it's got this like feel, this very sexy feel to it. It's a very like sturdy box, and I love the texture of it. That sounds so pervy, but it's true. And you get it out, and you got like the director's cut there, but this one has like, does this one have it? Yeah, it's got the cool extra disc, the bonus disc with the extra deleted scenes and all that stuff on there, and just a lot of cool stuff. And just like the big one for me, just getting this whole, getting it, the theatrical cut, Nightbreed, the way I want to see it. So yeah, I know it's pretty geeky and all, but I wanted to revisit the theatrical cut as well, and they did like a great new high definition transfer for it. So that was kind of a big deal, because Nightbreed's one of those that really, really meant a lot to me. Anyway, I wanted to clear that up. I think I did a video trying to clear this up before, but I still get responses on that. Next up on the docket, I've been asked a few times about like what movies I wrote. Well, there were low budgety films. I did some other stuff as well. I wrote for some comics that unfortunately did not get done. I wrote for a low budget film company. I wrote 5 films that they bought, one right after the other, and I made some decent money on that. Not in the first time I wrote a film, it was like Slave Wages. And as I got to do more, and I got to do edits and stuff like that on different scripts, I got to be actually got to make some decent money. Unfortunately, only one of the films got made because the company decided to just quit and go to business, whatever. And the only film that got made was an 87-minute movie that got made into like a 50-minute short, to the point where I didn't recognize what was on the screen. It didn't look like anything I'd written. Casting was done really, really badly. Literally, he saw a guy coming out of the store and he chose him for a role. The guy, I don't think the guy ever acted, and nothing of what I had written on the script actually ever got on the screen. So that's why I say yes. Yes, I've written stuff, and I kind of leave it at that most of the time. And that's why it was like a bitter pill to swallow for a while. But at the end of the day, it's like uh, I wanted to write and get a credit, and I did, and I checked that off my bucket list. If I write anything else at this point, I'm definitely going. I'm really heavily influenced by documentaries and documentary films and like features on like stuff that High Rise does and like a Red Shirt and like just some incredible stuff. So that's what I wanted to talk basically to get that out to let you, the couple questions that were. And by the way, one last thing, responses. I haven't done some responses on some videos in a while. I haven't forgot, or I just haven't. It's just I got the our TV went put it in. I got this little one right here. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if all things go well, hopefully Tuesday we'll have a decent TV. So things are really small to read on there, and I get really frustrated really fast. So then I've got a bunch of responses to get back to, and I will get back to them. I try to like go like on my iPad sometimes, and it gets, but yeah. So I try to get responses on that thing, and I'm like, no, it's the print is too small, and I hate that. You control plus, and then you only see the words. And yeah. So rather than turn this to a rant video, I'm going to end it now and go get myself some tea, relax, enjoy it. And thank God this wasn't a 27-minute video. My last one's 27 minutes long, and needlessly so. Have a great day, guys. If you haven't, get ready for the weekend. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. Let's hope. And then see where things go from there. And maybe by next Tuesday, I'll be doing responses like normal again. And I'll have a TV screen that's bigger. I'm so spoiled. I really am. But there was a time when 13 inches was like a great size for a TV screen for me when I was in college and that. And I was just like, oh man, if I can get a color. But now, yeah, we're a spoiled generation. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and for me it's time for tea. For the Jan Lobster, it's like, shut up, you're rambling. So, to all my great YouTubers out there, to my caffeine era, because that's what we are now, with a caffeine era. It's not like, like a Gen Y or a Gen X or millennials or whatever you want to call there, but what you take, and not breaking down from generation to generation, but you take like what we are now, we're like a caffeine fuel driven like like people, like no matter what our age are. We got our Starbucks, our Tim's, we got our Coffee Matters, we have our Monster energy drinks, which are caffeine filled. We're just caffeine freaks. So we are definitely like the era of the caffeinated. So all my caffeinated friends and decafs, have a great night.